Greetings, flesh creatures. It is I, Megatron. On behalf of TFYLP, I want to congratulate you for listening to the most refined collective podcast on this miserable little planet Earth. Yes. Here you'll find knowledgeable fans discussing every aspect of Transformers and beyond. Now, enjoy the show while I continue my path to complete conquest of all of you miserable biological entities. Predacons, terrorize!
Hi, and welcome to TFYLP, episode 359, recorded on Sunday, December 15th. So I am here today with Paul.
Hello, everyone.
I've got Jack.
Hola.
And Jim.
Hi.
I feel like there's a joke in there somewhere. I don't know. So I went to a bar with Jack and Jim and
Came home with Paul.
Oh my. I don't know I don't want to know what you guys are doing with your nights. I'll just leave it to you. Well, I'm sitting here trying to figure out what are these stupid things supposed to be on the back of Transformers Prime and Secticon. These little yellow growths. They're not legs.
I have no idea. I don't have that figure.
I've been staring at this thing for like an hour, and I don't know what they're supposed to be. I don't know where to put them, how to position them, what. It's bugging me.
I don't remember.
But yeah, that's what I'm doing with my night. What about you guys?
Yeah, Prime Toys. God, that seems like so long ago.
Right?
At this point.
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty much our last decent Transformers show. I mean, I guess we had RAD after that, but I wasn't a huge fan.
Yeah, that was a
crap.
good
Hold on, why is there no audio?
Oh, no.
What the hell?
Everybody's sitting there like, what are they saying?
Well, it says there's
seeing
audio.
Are the comments on YouTube or Facebook?
No, we're not going out to Facebook. It's YouTube.
Okay, it's just YouTube.
Can you try? Can someone try going on YouTube and seeing if it?
I'll check.
Yep, I'm gonna go now.
Technical difficulties.
I don't know. According to my thing, it says it's working.
Yep, there's audio.
Okay.
Yeah.
Due to technical difficulties, this week's episode of TFYLP will be done in both semaphore code and interpretive dance.
Yeah, so let us know if there's any kind of audio issues. I know we've had some problems the last couple of weeks with the audio setup. I don't know. So. Oh, there you go. Okay. So I will say we have had audio issues. So thank you, John, for commenting. No, it's no worries at all because, again, I think that one of the microcasters, I guess, like my audio just completely blew everybody else out. So, I do appreciate people saying, or like, I think there was part of the show last week I had muted myself and forgot to unmute myself. So,
Didn't realize it till the end.
Yeah. No, somebody said something in the comments, luckily. So.
I mean, there's a ton of moving parts trying to host this thing, so,
Yeah.
Right, so.
We're all allowed a flub here and there.
Well, I know Duran's had that. There was a couple where, like, he was doing a pre-recorded, like, literally the whole episode. And then he's like, oh, crap, like, your guys' audio wasn't working, like, the whole time.
I want to say I was on that one. I think.
It's happened.
So yeah. So at least the thing that's at least nice about when we're live is that there's people, in the comments that could tell us if the audio's messed up. So anyway, so we're getting close to the end of the year here. We're middle of December, so we're doing a live show this week. Next week, for since it's the weekend before Christmas, we're gonna go and do a pre-record. So this. the cast has actually done we did Secret Santa with each other, and so we're actually going to be opening our Secret Santa gifts and live on, well, not live, but on the pre-record.
Live, but not live.
Right, yeah. Live with each other. So we'll be doing that for next week. So that's going to go up for next week. And then I'm not sure about the week after. I'm not sure if we'll have a show or not. So we'll just have to try to figure.
I think we deserve a break.
Right. Yeah.
It's been a long year.
Yeah. So, well, and I know with, TFYLP, obviously there's been quite a number of changes here. Obviously, I mean, right here that Dron's, retirement, which was a big thing for the show. So, and I know that, we all, miss him quite a bit, and we wish that, that he could be on and and all that. And hopefully we can have Dron back on periodically. I know I was able to get him on. I was able to get him on for one show, so.
Or I should say the other Baldy.
So, yeah, and I know with that we've put on quite a number of shows too that kind of been adding to the channel. So we have microcasters now, and we've had Rick's show Cut the Tape on Friday, where he opens up a plethora of things. So if anyone hasn't checked out the Cut the Tape from this last week, he's starting on his quest. Like, I think he bought 100 Titan Return Scourges.
I think it's well over 100.
I just watched that episode this morning, and I was like, "Oh my goodness!"
and so
he started that quest what, 2-3 years ago?
It's pretty much as soon as Titan's Return started.
Yeah,
I think when he started.
I didn't catch much of the story. Like, how did he get all those? Was he just buying up every single one he found?
Yes,
for a while.
Pretty much.
Like a full price, or was it discounted? Dang.
I mean, he might have found a deal. I don't know, but
I don't know if those ever went on deep discount. So my assumption is, they were full price.
They peg warmed that first wave. So.
Oh, okay, I don't recall that. I wasn't really paying attention to retail that much then.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't know if he did the same thing with the Sharkticons as well. I know somebody else did. I know other people. I think I probably got 10 of them myself, but
I just had the one. I want to find 2 more.
But yeah, and
it shouldn't be that hard to find a flying bar of soap.
Well, now you can get the Cyberverse ones and have some size variation. That'd be cool for troop building.
Yep. So, and I think Rick also said that he did the same thing with the Prime Viacons. So.
Oh, and let's not forget Scraplets.
Oh yeah.
Those are going to be great for troop building.
So
Scraplets,
I wish
you say.
I wish on the Scraplets that they had released entire waves of those, because I actually think they're really cool toys. I bought one for each of my kids, and they're fun little guys to mess with. Oh, there it goes. Paul has some Scraplets.
I was gonna say.
What do you have there, Paul?
Being invaded by Scraplets. These are awesome. I love these.
Yeah. No, I love it. I hope that they release, additional waves of those, just because it was a fun little toy, and it's a fun little thing to just give to a kid that's any age, pretty much. So, not that the kid knows what a Scraplet is, but I don't know. In the new Cyberverse, are the Scraplets in it?
Yeah,
I believe so.
They're fundamentally about the same as they were.
Yeah,
in Prime.
I've not noticed any major changes from their prior incarnation.
So, but yeah, no. So when Rick did his Scourge show, he gave it to me, and it was 45 minutes long or something like that, of him just opening these Scourges. And I was I gotta do something about this. There's no way that I could just publish a 45-minute video of Rick opening packages, scourges or whatever. So
A scourge of scourges.
Next time you do that, put the Benny Hill theme as the music instead.
yeah, I was kind of worried about that. So I used there's some open source sound effects that Apple has like on their editing stuff that I use because I was worried about using actual music to that, so that we get a copyright claim or something. So, but
I'm not sure if Yakety Sax would be in the public domain or not.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to check. I'll check it for next. I will check that for next time, and if it is, I will put that to the part 2.
So.
That would be great.
So, anyway, but yeah, and then we also added Ouch My Wallet to the channel as well. So that's hosted by Rob, and that's been quite a lot of fun.
Ouch.
So yeah,
because of being a collector. Every week.
Exactly.
And we split that show off because the regular show is becoming so long with Ouch, so we're like, oh, this way we can make the regular show shorter. And then somehow we've managed to still, on the regular show, like on whatever topic we've had, I think there's been a few shows where it's like, oh, we're going an hour and a half or an hour and 45 minutes. And I mean, the thing is they've all been good discussions. So, like that's kind of the way we've done it. But, I know there was like a diversity episode where we went an hour and a half and we still didn't get through everything we wanted to get through. So
I thought whoever thought of that was pretty smart because I wouldn't have ever thought to split that off into its own show, but it makes a ton of sense.
I think that was on it. Not.
I think Duran actually had originally was talking about splitting that off, before he left. So we just kind of made it as a regular thing. So, but
and Rob's doing a good job with that too. So
yeah,
it's cool. I think it's great.
Yeah.
I hope we can do more of that kind of content segmenting.
Right.
If people want it, at least.
Yeah.
I like it, but I'm not the audience.
I think that's the thing that's tough about the whole show is like, do you want to have longer content or shorter content? And I know for a lot of our podcast listeners, you definitely want it to be longer just because, you're listening to it while you're at work or just doing something else or whatever. But then, if you're a video viewer, like, are you going to make it through this entire show? Sometimes you might, sometimes you might not. It just kind of depends. But,
The difference with the video is you can see the comments, and actually see the toys. Mm-hmm. So I like the audio format because, like, if you're a commuter, like it's great for you. Like every week you can enjoy your commute a little bit more because there's going to be a new podcast of all your friends talking or the people that you like to hear their opinions, and it's it's kind of like listen at your leisure.
Right. Yeah, and I know, just in general, like Transformers, we're blessed with so many podcasts. It's kind of crazy that.
Spoiled rotten with podcasts.
We're just like a very opinionated group, and we like people to hear them, or at least we like to say them out into the ether. So there's a ton of us doing our own shows. It's kind of crazy.
Well, yeah, I think that's one of the things that's like kind of unique is I feel like there's a lot of content creators, and not just necessarily, with podcasts or YouTube, but also people taking pictures of the, of figures as well. So I don't know, like I'm not as heavy into other fandoms. Like I know Star Wars is big and whatever, and the Marvel and stuff, but I don't know for like the size of the fandom if like how Transformers ranks up there compared to other ones.
I don't think it's quite as big as say Star Wars. Definitely increased, since the live action movies and all. But even then, I don't know if it's maintained quite the following.
Well, the thing I think is, oh, sorry, Ryan.
Well, you can go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I think the thing that's different about Transformers is that it's really kind of a global phenomenon, whereas like Star Wars is really big, here in the U.S. and it's big in Europe, but like it just has not resonated with the Asian market as much as Transformers. I mean, you look at the toys and the movies and all that kind of stuff, and I mean there's I would almost say that a lot of the conventions are bigger over in Asia than they are here. Like, I mean, we just saw, for those who don't know, there was a convention in Singapore just this last weekend, and pretty much all the third parties were there, and it was a huge convention. So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember Cybertron Con. Did you ever hear about that? That was in China. My God, like 50,000 people came to that. It's insane.
Sounds familiar? Yeah.
Remember, if you can reach way back, do you remember the GDO line? They were like Generations, red packaging. Those were all, all like the repaint Generations toys. They revealed those at the Cybertron Con, like Hasbro did. They actually had a presence.
Okay.
And like, God, just so many people were at this thing, and they had. It like made BotCon look stupid, like just completely a joke. And if they ever do one of those again, I might consider going just to like see the spectacle, because it's just like huge convention center type stuff. And in South America, there's some really big ones too. So I agree with you that it's like a global phenomenon, and it's like, America kind of has its own separate culture than a lot of I mean, every area of the world does, but It's like robots are taken more seriously in other countries or something, like especially in Asia. Like in Japan, they have Gundam and all this anime stuff is based around super robots, and so it's it's just different. And I think there's supposedly, I've seen some rumors that there's an announcement coming for the new movie franchise or something to do with the next live action franchise, and I'm interested to see how that goes, because if put my prediction hat on. If they reboot the films for real and they cut out, they just say Bayverse is gone, we're starting over, we're doing something new, I think we might really have like a powerhouse franchise for another decade. Like I think people might be sick of the Marvel Cinematic Universe a little bit, and this might be the next thing to kind of explode if they do it right. Yeah. If they do it right, which I think is like maybe a 10% chance that's going to happen. All right, I'm done. I'm done ranting.
I could see that working, but at the same time, I also can't. Because if they were to reboot something like that, I almost guarantee you they would go with the standard evergreen G1 faithful, designs. And I almost wonder if maybe too much time has passed for that to be effective. Because you've got so much of a fan base around like the Bay designs now for Bumblebee and ones like that. So I mean, it could go either way.
I thought that the rumor is that it's pretty much using the designs from the Bumblebee movie. So what they did in the first 7 minutes or whatever it was, that they kind of are fleshing that out. So essentially it's a mashup of the of G1 and Bayverse. So they kind of Bayverse G1, I guess, if that would make sense.
I mean, what are you basing that off of? That picture that was shown, the big thing that had apparently a Megatron silhouette.
Yeah. No, that's what I was basing it on. So
I mean, I can't. I have no control over what they do. I just want them to start from scratch. I'm sick of the reboot versus sequel prequel debate. I know where I stand on it. It's still going on the internet. I just want it to, if they're going to reboot it, just really reboot it. Right. Please. And go for broke. Make it awesome.
And let Bumblebee talk, please.
I was watching this video the other day. But about that, I didn't even realize they kind of made a joke that Michael Bay ripped that off from Wreck-Gar. Like, oh, Wreck-Gar's so cool, I'm going to make that into make Bumblebee talk like that. And I was like, oh my God. That is what happened. That sucks.
I didn't really think about that till now.
Well,
It didn't either.
Redgar talks TV, Bumblebee talks radio.
Wait, I didn't realize
There
that
is
Michael
still
Bay
some-
had actually seen the original movie.
Well, it was kind of a joke. The guy was. He definitely didn't.
I don't know if he sat through the whole thing, but I think Hasbro
I
kind of
just- I-
put him
I
through
think he
the
just sat through the explosions.
just kind of gave him the basics of the franchise, and then he kind of nitpicked what he liked.
Added more
Put this all
explosions.
together.
But yeah, so I mean, we'll see more about that. I'm sure that they're gonna announce something at some time. I don't know when the next big event is that they would do that at.
Probably San Diego. I mean, if they really
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
smart, they would wait till
Hey,
that, or
Maybe
maybe
has
Toy Fair.
gone.
But I could see though, yeah, like I could see them doing it at an Asian convention too. So I don't know when, some of those ones are where Hasbro has a big presence at, but so yeah, no, the HasCon thing, that was such a disappointment that I didn't end up going myself, but like I do think like it sounded like a fun idea. I just think that they made it too big. Yeah, it's probably one of those things they just don't have the money that they want to dump into it they probably figure they're not getting enough money back to justify the cost of doing something like that. But
The vibe I got from HasCon, it's like they did away with the main convention so they could do their own thing, but what I think they tried to do was make it more like an E3 / Disneyland, and not a convention.
Yeah, it was like
That was my
it was
take.
all promo.
Right.
well, I think the thing that was tough is the pricing for it. So, I think that they made it for families is what it seemed like to me. And I would love, it'd be fantastic if I could take my kids to, a thing where there's, Nerf and Transformers and Magic the Gathering and just all this stuff down the line that Hasbro does. That sounds fantastic. But it's the way that they priced it, it's I'm not going to take my whole family and fly everybody to Rhode Island for that. So
Why not?
I'm just saying, for a company that markets their products toward children and families, they know the prices have been going up for their products. I'm thinking they might be underestimating just how much disposable income parents with multiple kids actually have. Not that much.
Yeah, I don't know who they thought. They priced it for collectors, but there wasn't a lot of collector action
Right.
on there. It was
Yeah.
It was kind of, there was probably a lot of competing goals, a lot of different departments trying to get something out of that event differently than another department, and ultimately, kind of fell apart. I heard from people that went that said it was kind of cool, like they liked it and wish they would do it again. But yeah, it wasn't super well attended, and they made it. They went too big too fast.
Too many cooks spoiled the broth.
Yeah. I heard it was really great if you were a Magic the Gathering fan.
yeah, I'm sure.
You could play games, and there was all sorts of exclusive cards. I would love to have gotten that Grimlock Magic card, but I did not.
Yeah. I think honestly what they should do is they should partner with another comic convention, I know that there's a lot of major cities have, you have New York Comic Con, but there's so many cities that have good comic conventions that I would think you could just partner with somebody, have them do all the logistics, not, rather than Hasbro doing it, but,
You can partner with TFCon.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
That was, I think, the plan at one point to partner with a Boston Comic Con or something nearby. That's not too big, but is within earshot of a large metropolitan area.
Right.
Not New York, but something similar. But didn't happen. Or hasn't happened.
Well, and I think honestly, even a good idea for them would be to do where they would have a rep that worked with all the conventions to help book people and things like that, and maybe even give floor space or something like that. Because like I know that a lot of the bigger comic book conventions, like in Kansas City, there's a Planet Comic Con, and I know in Chicago, I'm sure, a lot of those, I feel like that they're not really that focused on Transformers. It's focused more on the Marvel universe and the Star Wars and all that kind of stuff too.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, Transformers is such a tricky brand because it's almost like, here's general nerddom or comic fans or something, and Transformers is like got a smaller circle slightly inside of it, just like touching the edge. Like you go to a regular Comic-Con as a Transformers focused fan, you're not going to find hardly anything, or if you do, it's going to be way overpriced for people that don't know what it really should be costing.
Right.
So that's why we have to have these like really targeted things, because we're like kind of our own beast. And I always say you never go to, there's no Batman con, there's no, DC Universe con, because they just get enveloped into the whole general Comic-Con market. And it's
there's no Batman con?
Strange. I mean, maybe there is. I don't know. I've never heard of it.
There should be.
Batcon.
It's Batman.
I think it's all wrapped into the regular Comic-Con. So, I mean, I think the thing that's tough is like, I know, a lot of these conventions have cosplay and whatnot. And, we do have a pretty good community, and I know Amber from the show is involved in that community as well. But to me, I feel like it's more difficult to make cosplay for that. Like Star Wars, it's as easy as like I could buy a lightsaber or I could buy a gun, whatever, and there I go as like a random fan. Whereas it's a little bit tougher with Transformers. And I know like a big thing, at least at our conventions, is we have people that build their own R2-D2s and BB-8s and whatnot. Like they have a local group that does that. But I don't know. It's Transformers. I haven't really seen that kind of stuff.
I mean, there's what did Amber call it? The human former costumes, or the person former, where you kind of go as the hologram, the holomatter avatar, or even just like personify a robot with your clothing somehow. Like look like wear a bunch of purple and you're Cyclonus somehow because you did your hair into spikes. So there are ways to do it, but that's still not just getting a lightsaber, putting your ponytail back, and wearing a robe and being Qui-Gon.
Right.
What's that episode in the G1 series? I can't think of it.
Human.
Oh yeah,
Human.
That'd be a great cosplay for a bunch of people.
Yeah, I guess Rob's saying in the chat that there's no Ninja Turtle Con, which is kind of surprising to me.
Well, they are ninjas. I mean,
yeah.
Stealthy.
I know at Planet Comic Con that they had a big thing in Kansas City. They had, I can't remember. It was one of the creators of the Ninja Turtles. I can't remember which one of the two it was that came. So that was a couple years ago. So I don't know. I know there's so many different intersecting fandoms in general that it's tough to kind of focus on all of them at these shows. So.
That reminds me. Had you guys checked out the newest season of The Toys That Made Us?
Yes.
Yep.
Ninja Turtle episode.
Yeah, that was a good episode.
They got Eastman and Laird back together.
Yeah.
I never knew they were like Splitsville. So.
Yeah, I didn't either. I had no clue.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not as big in the Ninja Turtles. It was kind of, I mean, I don't know. I feel like you had to be back in the day. I mean, when I was a kid, like, I mean, I watched the show and the movies and all that, but...
Go Ninja, go Ninja, go.
They had Vanilla Ice on the show, too.
Everything was Turtles. I mean, at first started getting big in, like, 87, and then by 91, you've got 2 films. I mean, that was insane.
My brother was more of the turtle guy than I was. So...
But I will say this, with what they did with that episode, it just shows the power and influence that fans can have, by showing support for a brand or for an industry. I mean, these guys got back together for the first time in over a decade, and they're getting ready to put out a new comic.
Yeah, that's That's
Yeah,
what
The
Rob's
Last
saying in the
Ronin.
comments. Sorry, what was it called?
The Last Ronin.
Huh. Yeah, that's really cool.
I know, right?
It's a good story, like just how that's all coming together. I love that Toys That Made Us show. It's really, it's really well done. And now that Movies That Made Us, which I was like, oh, what a dumb idea, but that's awesome too.
Oh, it's great. I still got 2 episodes to watch.
I feel like those kind of shows are the perfect ones for Netflix. You can just sit back and binge it, and
absolutely.
Makes me want to get a Netflix now.
The dumb thing is, though, those movies need to be on Netflix.
Yeah.
Die Hard is not on Netflix. At least I don't know. I couldn't find it, but maybe I'm an idiot.
You don't own Die
I want to
Hard?
watch Dirty Dancing. You know, I want to watch it.
No.
I was gonna say, how do you not own these movies, Paul?
I don't own anything anymore.
Well, if nothing else,
I was gonna say, besides everything.
But besides all the stuff behind you.
Yeah, even if you can't find the DVDs of them, like at a resale shop or Goodwill or whatever, I'm sure you can get them on digital.
So
I'm sure I can. There's less of those than there are every time. If you're counting, there's less of those. So
yeah, I was gonna say, did you sell all of your movies and put it all into MP44s?
I haven't owned, the only Blu-rays I even own are the Evangelion like rebuild movies. So stuff you can't typically get. So
pretty much all I own for Blu-rays
person.
is like MCU and Quentin Tarantino stuff. That's it.
Yep, sounds about right.
I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting for a DVD or Blu-ray release of Lensman. If you own the VHS, you own the current version.
I would love for them to remaster and put out like a lot of those Transformers shows. Like I know they did G1 on DVD, but it'd be nice to have it on Blu-ray as well. And
exactly.
Some of the other
you know
ones.
what's really the treasure of those box sets are the BotCon videos as the special features. Most of that stuff's on YouTube now, but now I look at those, I'm like, hey, I know those people. Like, they're young. What the hell? It's amazing. It's total time capsule.
It is.
You're like back when those people had hair and it wasn't gray.
I was gonna say it was actually colored.
Yeah.
So.
So what's the topic today?
Yeah. So how was your guys' year in Transformers? Like what were some of the notable things that happened to you in regards to Transformers collecting and whatnot, or consuming media?
I've mainly been focusing on studio series more than anything.
Did that start, like, when did that start last year?
It started 2018.
Toy Fair. You could pre-order them, the first 4 deluxes, at Toy Fair 2018.
That was Jazz, Stinger.
No, Stinger, Bumblebee, Ratchet, and
Lockdown.
No, one of the Dreads, maybe.
Yeah. Crowbar.
Crank. Yeah.
So I feel like that this is the year where Hasbro's really starting to focus more on collectors. I mean, Takara as well, but as much as the Generations line was a collector's line, it was kind of like split in the middle, like where they were still focusing a lot on kids. And I feel like that this was the first year where they're like, you know what, we're going to scrap all this, we're going to start over, and, the studio series is going to be for the movie collectors, and we're going to have, Siege for the, whatever the trilogy's called.
G1ers.
For the G1ers.
Well, what I think they really did is they finally, standardized things like the Marvel Legends and the Black Series. Like Hasbro kind of had these things that worked really well and have been working for a long time, and you can tell because they started numbering everything as they should have been doing forever, like the Japanese, Takara Tomy has been doing.
Well, Hasbro kind of did do it with the Thrilling 30 stuff. But
that was a huge failure.
But they
didn't even get 30 products.
That was scattered badly.
Did they not get 30? I thought for some reason they did.
They got 30.
I mean, do you really count the same product released in 2 different countries? Like,
right.
2 different numbers? Like, give me a job. Like,
it's technicalities.
True. True. I just
Actually,
thought
should
that was
say they
funny
did it the
because
year before with the Fall of Cybertron stuff, but
I was pretty sure they didn't actually get 30 products. I'm going to
no,
check.
they did
And
because
it was a
I have the
weird-
whole line. I actually have pretty much the whole Thrilling 30 line. The only two I'm missing is Cliff Jumper and Metroplex. But no, they got well past 30. Because there's at least
That's a bold claim there, Jack.
It is.
It was a weird
there's at
assortment,
least
though.
like
there was the Cybertron Starscream. You know,
Armada.
It was such a
Armada.
weird thing because they were towards the end. They were just slapping numbers on everything. Though I mean, like there was some crap. I can't remember what all the numbers are, but like some of the stuff was like a one-step movie changer or something like that. I can't remember which one it was. It was
like
well, Jack. I was meaning the big Starscream. The
for the
gigantic.
Thrilling 30 line.
Wasn't that Thrilling 30, or was that like year of the
well,
Yeah,
it was
that
year
was,
of the
year
whatever,
of the-
but
like
I swear it was both.
snake,
though.
horse, goat,
I
unicorn?
think you're the Snake because it was Optimus and Omega Supreme for 1 year.
Okay,
Mhm.
yeah,
Then it was
because those were running the same time as the Thrilling 30.
yeah.
They were doing the different years. Yeah, like
Yeah.
so. Okay, so Jack, you have both versions of that Metroplex exclusive. You have number 1 and 5.
Oh, I know. There was that list. Yeah, that I completely forgot about that. I was just talking about the main general retail rent. I
no,
completely forgot.
he bought 30 Armada Starscreams.
Yeah, I'm pulling a Rick.
Well, this is what the Thrilling 30 was. You know, God bless him for trying, but like when the San Diego Comic-Con Metroplex and the Shockwaves Lab is 1 and 2. And then 5 and 6 are the same two things released at Anime Con in Hong Kong.
Yeah,
Right, like
yeah, I completely forgot about that list.
Who's responsible for that? They got to go.
so. Yeah, that's a tough line to track down the whole thing, right?
Yeah, it's like not even worth it. When I hear someone saying they're going to do that, I'm like, are you crazy? Like
It's
literally?
not really sad.
Yeah, I was just talking about the
Really
regular
at all.
Yeah.
main line.
Yeah, all 30
That's-
Starscreams.
But yeah, no, I mean the studio series. I mean, I think it's been a fantastic line. They've redone a lot of the toys, updated them, and then I mean they made them all in scale as well, right? Isn't that kind of the?
Yeah, pretty
For
much.
the most part.
I
Yeah,
mean, as
pretty
much
the
as you
only thing
can.
that's really out of whack on them is just the vehicles, but the
Yeah.
robots are pretty close.
Yeah.
Because obviously
I think-
Optimus's truck mode is nowhere near close, I think, as frickin'
Yeah, no.
Jetfire's SR-71 Blackbird, but
Which one would you guys say is the best out of that line so far?
Well, among the
That's a-
top, I would say
question.
would be Brawl. Voyager Brawl was a
Yeah.
outstanding figure.
I love Blackout. I
Yeah.
think that was a huge improvement over the first Voyager.
Blackout was a freaking monster, but my only complaint is it's hollow as the chopper. It's hollow. But
I
overall,
love
overall, amazing detail, and I don't know, it's just awesome.
I loved Revenge of the Fallen Megatron. I think that was another huge improvement over the original sea green piece of garbage that first came out in 09.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think the Grimlock was really neat too. The way they did with the paint wash and everything on it, I thought that was another figure where they didn't really do a great version originally. Like it wasn't the same colors as
I
the.
think that's pretty much why they did the Studio Series line, just to redo a lot of these figures.
Mm.
And
Now, most of these are new molds.
yeah,
Like,
I mean,
think they all-
There's a
okay.
couple of them that are straight up reissues, like Cogman.
Cogman, the KSI boss is just
Yeah.
Nitro.
Nitro.
Yeah, at least it's like the exception and not the rule with Studio
Right.
Series.
Yeah.
Like they're keeping very true to what they set out to do, which was, reimagine these toys, do them right.
Oh.
Now that they've had a decade to like kind of like not be under the gun to get it out in time for the
Right.
movie, they can actually do it right. Like I think that Grimlock is an incredible. I think they're all incredible improvements, personally.
Yeah.
18, number 18, the VW Bug,
Oh yeah.
outstanding.
Yeah, no.
Getting the backpack all the way in is a little scary, but overall,
Yeah.
that was far and away probably the best Bumblebee we've got in years.
Rob in the chat
Ratchet
saying
was-
scrap metal is his favorite.
Scrap metal's fun. Yep. Ratchet actually was technically a reuse too from Dark of the Moon. They just kind of gave him a lot of remolding
sure?
and different. Yeah, they're close, but they did redo a few parts. I think the shoulder bits. I think some parts with the legs. Yeah, I'm looking at them now. It's more legs and just the shoulders.
The Jazz was pretty impressive once you figured out that you have to peg the back into the roof of the car just right.
And
in
he's
order to get
tiny.
it.
He is Jazz's car mode is tiny.
Yeah, but it
Yeah.
works.
He's like
It works.
he's like the size of my mouse. That's how tiny
And
he is.
he's got that big shield, so he can either hold it in his fist or he can flip around and where the fist was, peg in as an extension of the arm.
So
Well, I'd be remiss without mentioning the Starscream, because I think
Yeah,
it's
Starscream,
incredible.
Yeah,
Dark of the Moon Deluxe, blowed it up, and I thought it worked perfectly.
It's my favorite Dorito.
Paul, I'm curious. What do you think of the studio series compared to the movie Masterpiece figures?
I'm
Like,
glad you brought that up.
I kind of feel like that the movie Masterpiece figures, like, okay, so like if you take the Siege figures and the new, like, you know, MP44 Optimus, right? Like, they're not the same league at all, right? Like, completely different, you know, figures and quality and all that, right? But with the movie Masterpieces, it seems like they're going for a slightly lower price point, you know, that's closer to like $100, whatever. And I feel like that the quality is good, but it's like, is it really that much better to where you're like, okay, I have to have that Masterpiece. I can't, like, I don't know. I kind of rather just do studio series.
I find it strange that they're doing. It's like they're trying to do the same thing twice.
Yeah.
It's really weird, and they've already committed to the movie Masterpiece series, so it's like, oh well, there's a team working on that, you know, and they're doing it. And at one point, John Warden said something that, you know, Hasbro is in control of the movie Masterpiece line, and Takara's in control of the regular or the Masterpiece
G1.
line.
Yeah.
So they're like very divergent. That's why the packaging is slightly different and everything. And I just think it's odd that they're doing it, because like you could easily, like, the movie Masterpiece toys are just like so much more frustrating to play with, to transform and make them work. And you can almost get the same result with the Studio Series toys, like you're saying. So movie Masterpiece toys are kind of in a weird spot. And I don't know if they're going to keep doing them. I keep hearing rumors of, you know, number 10. You know, it's either going to be Ratchet or Starscream.
Mm-hmm.
And
they did Starscream already, didn't they?
Well, that was a Hunt for the Decepticons leader, but it was just
sure, it was
repainted
same figure, but you know,
no, they didn't re-release it for
Cross-branded.
this current.
I mean, the movie Masterpiece series really started with number 3, because then it was in the United States and America, because it was a Japanese only thing for a while. It was just something they like made a mistake calling it movie Masterpiece to start in Japan, but they didn't know how to bring in those toys into Japan, and that's how they decided to do it, because they thought they were big enough and crazy enough to do. Yeah. I think I like the line. Like, I love the Megatron. You know, it's so big, and it's. I think it's actually cheap at $150 or whatever that price point.
Yeah, for a
thing is
figure
at.
that insane. Yeah.
Yeah, especially at the same time you got Beast Wars Megatron and Optimus coming out at like, you know, twice or more. That cost.
Yeah.
I don't understand how they're getting away with selling it for that low, but either the other one's way inflated or this one is deflated. I don't know.
Or it's just not big of a
Probably.
market for.
Might deal with like parts count or something.
Potentially. But yeah, like, I feel like that the newer movie masterpieces are nicer. Like, the Megatron and Jazz seem like it's a step up in quality compared to, like, what the older ones were. And, honestly, if those are successful, like, if they, if the new ones continue to be successful, I mean, they can always reissue or, do a new Megatron, like the next, like kind of like what they're doing with Studio Series, where it's like, here's the one from the next movie and here's the one from this movie. So, but I'm somewhat surprised too, where I feel like third party has really jumped on Movie Masterpiece themselves, and they've really been like, I mean, if you handle some of the stuff that like Unique Toys or whatever have put out, like, I mean, to me, I feel like it's just as or better quality than the stuff that Hasbro's putting out for at Masterpiece level. But.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few pieces that they're kind of hard to resist. Like I think there's a Hot Rod or two that look incredible, from the later movie. I just can't believe that they're getting away with that, because Hasbro letting things slide is one thing, but Paramount, like being
right.
Like, oh yeah, just go ahead, steal our stuff.
Yeah.
I just don't know how they haven't gotten nuclear bombed at this point.
Pretty much.
Go for it, everybody.
I'm curious, like, if Paramount doesn't necessarily even know it exists. I don't know. Like, that's the only thing I could think of that, someone at Paramount hasn't found out yet. So, I mean, really what they need to do is have somebody... Have somebody like ping Michael Bay and be like, "Hey, dude, like this is this is knockoffs essentially." I mean, whatever. Like, because I mean, the thing is too, is a lot of those car designs too are getting knocked off. With the third party stuff too. So like that's the other risk that you run as well is that the car companies see it and go, "Wait a minute," like so.
Yeah, there's so much licensing involved. I just don't understand how they get away with it. But I've seen some amazing stuff for movie designs recently. I mean, there's a new masterpiece looking Bumblebee from the movie that just looks incredible compared to the one we got. Because that was like the biggest miss, I think, in the masterpiece movie line was the Bumblebee VW. Because it was based on... It doesn't even really look like the one in the movie, and it has features that weren't in the movie. And I think they just had to... again... They couldn't get it right because they're working on previs artwork, and they got to start somewhere. It was
just pretty much the Studio Series, but bloated it out.
Right. So, but yeah, no, and I know the other big line, of course, was Siege line as well for collectors. So I mean, that's been a crazy year. I'm curious to see what the numbers are going to end up being for Hasbro. It seemed like so far, like their second and third quarter results are up, which is somewhat surprising compared to, the fact there's no movie out, this year too. So the fact that they're able to maintain their sales without a movie, I think says, how successful both of these lines have been, for collectors.
Well, I think they've realized that they kind of have Transformers is like two worlds now to them.
Pretty much.
It's like the old school, the retro stuff, which would be Siege, and then the movie line, which there's quite I don't know. I'd say most people like are in one camp or the other. There's very few that are interested in both.
I'm both.
Maybe. Well, I mean, we are not normal toy buyers. We are,
exactly
in the 1%. So I mean, I'm into both. If there's a Jazz. Yeah. If I collect Jazz, if there's a Jazz in the movie version and there's another one in Generations, I get them both. So
pretty much.
Yeah. So, but no, I mean, I still think again that it makes sense for them to try to unify some of these lines between the movie and between G1, just because you want to try to hit people on both sides. And I think too. Parents, when you're going in the toy aisle, I mean, you just get confused. Like, you really want something at least resembling, like, to where it says Bumblebee and it looks the same. So that way they're not, when they're trying to buy their kid a Christmas present, that they're like, oh, what am I supposed to buy? So...
What is going on?
I don't know. I still think it'd be crazy. Like, if I'm like a random parent, right? Like, and I'm walking in the store today, Like, I mean, I would be so confused because there's so many different lines that are like literally within like a 4-foot section of the store with like all Transformers.
Have you ever helped a parent like during Christmas
Yes.
in the Transformer aisle? It's kind of great.
Once.
Right.
Once.
I've had one where like, how do you know this? I've been collecting since I was 2. Really?
I attempted it once. It was about, must have been 2004. And trying to help them because they're someone in Hot Shot. Okay. And the little boy kept screaming, "There's supposed to be a red helicopter. Where's the red helicopter?" I'm trying to explain to the kid, explain to the parent. It's like, that was our
Hey,
mom.
Hot
Center John. This is a newer, but I want the red helicopter.
Oh, you're 2 years too late.
Go on eBay, kid.
Yeah.
Well, that's one thing I feel like with,
What's funny is after that, I walked over to the clearance section and they still had some Armada Hot Shots on clearance.
oh, there you go. Well, hey, that's the thing that's tough in general with like Netflix and whatnot, where, you know, now at this point we can consume whatever media we want. Like this will happen to my kids where they'll watch like some Power Rangers whatever show from like 20 years ago and they'll want those toys. And I'll be like, I'm sorry, kid. It's kind of going for a high price on eBay there. So,
Well, I think, you know, that's kind of the beauty of Hasbro getting the Power Rangers line. Like, they're releasing all sorts of random, like, what's a Psycho Ranger? I have no idea, but I've seen it in the stores. So
right.
That's one thing that's always mystified me about that brand is, you know, Bandai's Power Rangers, the Zords have pretty much always been bricks. And it's gotten progressively worse with each year, but they always demand an insane amount of money on the secondary market. I don't get it.
I don't get it either. I hate those toys. They're so bad.
It's like they might as well be just giant robot heroes or something, you know?
So I don't know for you guys. I know John in the chat's mentioning that he doesn't have any Transformers on the shelf by him. Like, all the stores by me have restocked. Like, literally, they're restocking daily, and so it'll be stuff where you won't see something one day and then you go in the next. Like my Walmart literally just stocked like a ton of like the newest wave with Crosshairs and. Spinister, like literally just dropped yesterday.
Yeah,
mine has 2 Crosshairs, but I don't see any Spinisters, and it's making me angry.
It's Christmas season right now, so there's going to be a lot of product moving. Plus, right after this is going to be the spring reset.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, in my area, it's been really hit or miss to where one day I'll have pretty much everything I'm looking for, and like for the next few weeks, pretty much be dead. All of a sudden, here comes a boom between all this. Well, actually, now that it's just down to Target and Walmart, then it's just all of a sudden, they're getting one of them, other stores getting other, and it's been like that for a few weeks, and it just goes back to dead. And so it's just really hit or miss.
Target's had a 25% off $100 toy sale for the past week, so a lot of stuff moved. And then I just saw today they replaced that now with 20% off all Transformers blanket.
They had one to where it was, I think if you text the code to whatever, you get like 25% off. Another one was like buy one get one free.
Yeah,
they've been they're doing their basically the whole like holiday cycle. They've been on sale in some form. And so 20% off again, all Transformers. I just saw this today, but it also looks like Siege Voyagers are $6 off to begin with. So,
well, you know, the thing I'm kind of curious about Siege, and I know the biggest thing that everyone has been complaining about now that they're kind of putting everything more in scale is that the leaders are essentially Voyagers with some extra parts thrown in, right? So, like, I mean, just people complain all that. Like, I'm okay with it just because I really like those figures that we've received. But like looking at the stores, since I've been kind of hunting for the new wave, there are so many Shockwaves on the shelf. Like, my God, I swear that every store I've gone in has had like 4 to 6 Shockwaves. And
last time I looked, Walmart.com had Leading Class Shockwave for about $30.
Yeah.
Yeah, they overproduced it. I think that toy is incredible. You know, the problem with him is that those extra parts are no one wants them. You know,
Right.
He doesn't have 4 fucking arms.
you gotta admit though, the submarine mode is awesome.
Wink, wink.
I mean, I will say, like, I do like the jet mode of that. Now, is it worth it to tack an extra $20 on? No. But, I mean, but yeah, like, I feel like that the Ultra Magnus, like, at least makes a little sense in the Galaxy Prime. Like, it's an Optimus Prime, all that kind of thing. Like, so I think that, makes some sense, but I don't know. I'm curious whether or not I'm even going to see any Astro Trains locally in my stores because... Or if it's just mainly going to be online. Because,
you will. It's going to be in Earthrise too. It's going to be in. Astro Train's going to shelf form just as bad as Shockwave because he's going to be in 2 waves.
Yeah. Because I can't remember. Is that the
Train's
only?
coming with Ultra Magnus, and he's coming with the Leader Optimus in Earthrise. So he's getting double dipped 2 waves in a row. It's going to be rough.
Oof.
He better jettison some weight.
I'll never make it back to that.
I'm betting that they'll probably sell a fair amount, like with the last Wage of Siege. It's going to be with those Optimus Primes. That's where it's going to shelf warm. Because I always feel like that's the case is like when they throw it in the next wave. Because like everybody's already gotten, not everyone, but a lot of people have already gotten it. So I feel like that the amount of people that don't get those is not as big as what they think it is.
Yeah, I mean, they put Shockwave. Shockwave was Wave 1 with Ultra Magnus, and then it was like, it was with the Optimus as well.
Yeah.
So the only leader that's going to be hard to find is Galaxy Optimus, even though it was very plentiful for a while.
Yeah.
Like they're drying up because
they are.
That's why every time you see a Shockwave on the shelf, there was a Optimus that has been snatched.
Yeah.
I gotta find out.
Yoink.
To be honest.
Yeah, I don't know. I really wish that they wouldn't do that as much. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure that they, don't... Like, I'm sure the leaders don't sell as well. And that's the reason why they're splitting them across multiple waves like this. But it's... I don't know. It's somewhat frustrating to, just see all this stuff shelf warming.
Yeah, I mean, they got to make decisions. And if it was me, I would have overproduced the Shockwave, too, because it's the best Shockwave of all time. I guess if you count the masterpiece, but like, it's so awesome. It looks like it walked off the screen or the comic even. They made it to look like that cover with the All Are Dead thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing, but it didn't need those parts. That's the real problem.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's really again, I think the Ultra Magnus was fine, but yeah, that Shockwave was just tough to do. So, but I don't know. I mean, if I had to pick between that the Siege Shockwave and the Masterpiece, like I think I might pick that one just because like it's the right colors. Like I know that they have that Masterpiece, the MP Plus one, but then that one's more expensive as well. So.
Yep.
Overall, I think Siege was quite possibly the best Transformer line we've ever had. Just even though there are those Voyagers with the leaders as Voyagers with extra parts. I mean, if you put them all line them up, they just look so good together. Forget about how much they all cost. Like it's awesome that Spinister kind of fits in with Soundwave, all the other Voyagers. Like the height of the robots is great. It's so uniform, and because they're all kind of the same size, unless you're Frenzy and Rumble.
I'm inclined to agree with you to a point, mainly because of things such as Refractor or the different weaponizers. But I don't know, I wasn't really feeling the Cybertronian designs on like say Prowl or Optimus, for instance. I mean, I understand what they were trying to go for, but they also tried to adhere to the evergreen design at the same time. I don't think that worked. Had they tried maybe, I don't know, like more than meets the eye, Wheeljack Bumblebee, something like that would have been stellar. You know?
I mean, the thing is, we don't have the fiction that was supposed to go with it. So I'm not like everyone focuses on that.
We do, but it's 35 years old.
No, it doesn't exist yet. The show hasn't come out.
Paul, I don't know what you're talking about. There's been a comic book line that has come out with this whole thing, and these are
right.
These figures are incredibly comic accurate. So,
well, it's because the comic, they just took the toys and made the comic out of it.
Right. It's comic accurate. I'm just saying. Just saying.
You're right.
They even put the little nubs on. Like if you notice on the comics, they spend the extra time to put like the nubs that have the little blast effects and whatnot, that they put all over. Like they put those in the comics, and they put the little holes like and all that. And I'm just sitting there thinking, just think how much extra time that these artists have to sit here like drawing that crap.
Little nubs.
Just so that it's
so
accurate. So
does Earthrise still have those blast effects?
I think so.
Let me check.
Yeah, let me look.
Okay. Because I'll tell you, if we could keep the blast effects just as accessories, that would be amazing. I would love that. That's one thing I have to give.
Yep. Optimus has little nubs.
And I think
are the effects there? That are for like fire.
I don't think they're gonna come with them.
Well, the effects
they
usually
just
come
got
with
the
the
little
Target
nub.
Masters, right? So
If they keep making
Right.
those,
Right.
they're making Battle Masters. They're
I say
either going to be
they're
ramped.
making the little
or
ramp,
one
dude.
guy that transforms into the floor. I mean,
right.
he just falls over, and that's his alt mode, like a miniature Grandus.
Listen, that guy is going to be something everyone's going to need a bunch of when they start making their bases.
Right.
Oh,
That's the thing that's
they're
going to be
troop build and make an entire patio out of him.
right. No, I mean that's the thing is like once you get all these MicroMaster bases, you're going to need some ramps there, Jim.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, everyone complaining about Astro Train's accessories is going to be like, I need more of those ramps.
Right, exactly. So I don't know. I mean, I think it makes a lot more sense on Astrotrain. I actually think that little blast off shuttle thing and the extra guns and all to me, I actually think looking at Astrotrain, I think he's worth the $50. Personally,
he is. Plus, he's a triple changer.
Right.
I mean,
Exactly.
Springer could have been the same thing if they would have given him, I don't know, a trailer of some sort.
Right.
They designed all these toys together, like the whole War for Cybertron thing. At least they have a main plan. They can interchange, guys here and there.
Right, but I don't know. I mean, I think it's funny that over the years, everyone has complained so much about scale and whatnot, right? And then Siege, we finally, they're taking that into account. And then, of course, everyone's complaining because the figures are smaller and depending on which figure it is. But then
damage.
But then they don't complain about, Spinister, which is, a massive deluxe, right? They don't complain about that, but then they'll complain about that. And I understand. I mean, I think that, if you're talking about your toy buying dollar, you want to get as much as you can. But to me, to me, I just feel like I enjoy that. I feel like I'm getting lines to where I'm finally not going to be replacing a bunch of stuff, because they actually have ankle rockers. They actually have a pretty fair amount of articulation, and so I don't know. But at the same time, Jim, you brought up a good point about some of these alt modes that some of them are a little bit blah, and so then the Siege Optimus, this new Earthrise Optimus, well, that looks a lot nicer, so,
It's effectively the same toy, though, is it not?
Not even
No,
close.
it's not
Really?
close. Yeah, if you watch the
I
transfers.
thought for sure it was a remold.
Watch the Christmas episode. Maybe someone will find out.
Wink,
Spoilers. Spoilers.
So,
Or do you mean last Christmas?
You gave me your heart, or I gave whatever. Boom.
so
So yeah, what else came out this year? I mean, there was Masterpiece stuff, but like, oh, there's Cyberverse. No one want to talk about Cyberverse?
Not really.
Eh.
I think I just want to point out one thing. I think next year people are gonna get into it hardcore.
I got home from work last night and I was looking at the table, and I ended up finding. I'm not sure who it's for. I hope it's not for me. But it was a Cyberverse Power Armor. It was like Optimus and Sky something. I looked at them like, I hope this is not for me. Otherwise, I'm going to be like, where's the receipt? I'm going to the store now.
Oh, come on.
Sorry.
The Optimus ain't bad.
So I actually think that those the new ones that are coming out now, those deluxes that come with the Build-A-Figure parts, those actually look pretty neat.
Yeah,
So-
and I can tell those are made to go with those. Those are for the Chinese market to go with those Neza toys.
Oh, yeah.
What are those Neza toys?
I don't know. China just entered the game. They're like own trans. Yeah, because like now we finally have a third market that's going to have their own huge line of stuff. Like it's not just we just got done having to. Collectors just got done having to worry about Japan having their own unique stuff.
Now it's going to be China.
Now it's China. And they're playing by their own rules, and that stuff is going to be infinitely harder to get a hold of because of like all the, it's just a lot more difficult to get stuff from China than Japan. Like all the channels have kind of been developed, and now you have to start over and do it in China. But they're making 52 new episodes for that toy line, so it's going to be there's going to be toys to support an entire show that is completely separate from Cyberverse as we know it.
So is that that's only going to be in China or Asia, or is it going to be in the U.S. as well?
Oh, I think that looks like Chinese only.
Oh, see, that's disappointing. Of course, I don't know. We'll see what the show's like, but it seems like why don't they just dub it and put it over here or something?
I mean, it looks kind of like Avatar, the Last Airbender meets Transformers.
Sounds good to me.
Which that show is awesome.
Right.
I mean, okay, I don't know. I don't work there. Maybe it'll show up, but I highly doubt it.
Yeah.
Unless they just repackage a bunch of the Cyberverse episodes and dub them in Chinese, and that's where the 52 episodes are coming from. But most of the animation they've shown, it looks like it's all integrated and brand new and unique. And high quality.
Interesting.
So look out for Neza.
But yeah, I think the only other thing is they rebooted the comic, this year. So, I'm really curious to see with the comics, right? Because part of the reason they did the reboot is because I don't think that the IDW comics are really selling that well, from what I heard, and so I don't know for sure what the numbers were, but I'm curious what the numbers are on this new comic compared to the older one.
I wouldn't know either. I don't know how to rate. I don't know how to find the top selling comics or anything. There's probably some sort of price guide out there, like movies, like Box Office Mojo for comic books. But if anyone knows what that is, please let us know. I can't imagine it's doing much better than it was. No one's talking about it.
Right.
None of the people that used to talk about, say, the IDW stuff are talking about it. But maybe that just shows how different the audiences are.
Well, I feel like that they did this so that people can jump in, because the older comics had been going for so long that, a lot of comics do this where they, just, do a reboot. But the problem is I feel like that a lot of people, I feel like more people jumped off than are jumping on. So
I'll give them credit, though. It's at least nice that there is a fiction to go along with the toys, and it is tied to it in some sort, because the old comics, they were great stories, but they were definitely their own thing. And once in a while, we'd get a toy that slightly referenced, what was going on 6 months prior in the comics. So it's nice that at least the designs are cohesive. So I'll give them kudos.
The tough thing with that is that when the comics, when they actually had to tie in with the toys and stuff, it actually made the comics suffer. Like when they did the Combiner Wars or Dark Cybertron and different crap like that. So that's the thing that's tough is that by allowing like More Than Meets the Eye to just go and do its own thing, like I felt like the comics were just much better because of that. But yeah, I agree. Like we never got a lot of the comics characters like in toy form, and so like we're finally now seeing a Rung, but it's like
I mean, this is an IDW Spinister,
right?
If you ask me, he's got the long, the taller head, and like you said, he's really tall, which he's kind of a brute in the comic.
But
God, the colors on that thing are awesome.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't know. Like, is there anything else this year that you guys got into or out of with Transformers or?
Not really. I don't think so.
I mean, we went to the convention.
Yeah.
Yeah, conventions.
Yeah, I will say. I mean, at TF Expo and TFCon both. So. Both of those. I know we did a live TFYLP from TF Expo. If people want to go back and check that out, that was with John Bailey. So that was a lot of fun. And then
what were you gonna say, Jack?
I was gonna go on something about video games, but I was gonna finish with the conventions, and I'll kind of touch on that. So if you wanted to finish about conventions and all that.
Yeah, so I mean, we did live TFYLPs from both TF Expo and TFCon, so that was a lot of fun going to both of those, and getting to catch up with people, and meeting some of the cast in person for the first time.
Yeah, there were a lot of us there. I mean, for me, being on the podcast was something pretty new. Like I thought that was a different way to interact with the fandom for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Meeting all you guys, fine gentlemen.
Yeah.
Fine, not so much. Gentlemen, I think is a no. That's for me at least.
I like
you guys. You guys are fine. I'm talking about me.
Yeah, I'm pretty fine.
So, all right. Well, I know we've gone for a while. Do you guys have any final thoughts or anything like that you want to add, or?
Here's hoping we get a proper, like a video game announcement, maybe next year, seeing how the PS5 is coming out. Hopefully a launch title, but
and so is the Microsoft GameCube.
If you haven't seen the Microsoft announcement, what is it? The Xbox One X or
Series
something like
X.
that, right? Series X, whatever. But it's like this massive, like it just looks like a big PC, like
it's
rig.
just
It's
a filler.
There was one circle.
There was one meme that was funny I found on Facebook. It was the Xbox Series X or whatever the heck they're calling it, just sitting on the ground, piece of glass on it with the PS5. So it's pretty much a table support. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Holding up my PlayStation. So.
All right. Well, I guess we'll wrap up. So we'll say that there's going to be a live Microcasters this week. I believe there's going to be a live Ouch My Wallet. I guess if Rob can confirm that in the chat here.
Respond.
But yeah, next week will be a little bit sparse with Christmas and all that coming up. So I think we're gonna try to do pre-records if we can, just so we can have stuff at the regular time slot. But we'll see. So and then also if you like what we do, consider supporting us on Patreon, patreon.com/TFYLP. We have tiers as low as $1 all the way up. So, but Rob says ouch my wallet this week. So,
just depending on who you can get.
Yeah. So, assuming that we can get people. So, Yep. So, all right. Well, thanks everyone, and thanks for being on the show, guys. Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Toodles.